most beautiful time in the Smokies. While spectacular views can be found in some of the most popular scenic spots, sometimes the best views of all are on the roads less traveled. This year, discover a delightful alternative route filled with scenic valleys, fertile river bottoms, and plenty of history on the Boyds Creek Fall Driving Tour. Begin your tour in historic downtown Sevierville. Enjoy quaint shops and eateries and make a stop at the Dolly Parton statue located on the lawn of the iconic Sevier County Courthouse at 126 Court Avenue. Created by Jim Gray, the 6.5-foot statue was erected to honor Sevierville native Dolly Parton, an internationally acclaimed singer-songwriter, instrumentalist, actress, author, and philanthropist. Leave the courthouse traveling north on Court Avenue. At the traffic light, turn left onto West Main Street. Travel 0.5 miles and turn right onto Old Knoxville Highway. Continue 0.5 miles to a beautiful white-frame Victorian house owned by Mrs. J.S. Elledge, which is located on the right. This house served as a temporary train station when the Knoxville, Sevierville, and Eastern Railroad first arrived in Sevierville in 1910. Continue 3.1 miles to the traffic light at the junction of Old Knoxville Highway and Gist Creek Road. Located on the left is the state-of-the-art Sevierville Convention Center. The facility design addresses the specialized needs of competitive arts events, trade and retail shows, and conventions. In 0.3 miles, the meticulously manicured grounds of Sevierville Golf Club come into view. The eye-catching course features two 18-hole championship courses. The Highlands, a par 70 that winds through the rolling hills and freshwater ponds, and the River, a par 72 that plays along and across the Little Pigeon River. Continue 2.3 miles to the entrance of Swan Plantation. The Murphy Swan House was built for William C. Murphy, a Sevierville merchant, in 1883. It is now a venue for weddings, receptions, and corporate events. Travel 0.5 miles to Loretta United Methodist Church, which sits on a hilltop to the left. The Gothic Revival-style church was built on land donated by W.C. Murphy, with materials salvaged from the Sevierville Southern Methodist Church when it was dismantled in 1893. The church was named after Murphy's two wives, Loretta and Lucy. Located on the left, 0.3 miles past the church, is Oak Haven Resort and Spa, featuring luxury log cabin rentals and a luxurious mountaintop spa offering an array of health and beauty treatments. Continue 0.3 miles and turn left onto Boyds Creek Highway, Highway 338. Proceed 0.8 miles to Revellow Farm, a large farm established by horse breeder Bob Catlett. Catlett was an associate of a vigilante group known as the Whitecaps, who terrorized Sevier County in the late 1800s. Now owned by the Ashley family, the farm was named after Revellow Station, a stop on the Knoxville, Sevierville, and Eastern Rail Line, which was located on the property. Turn right onto Hodges Ferry Road and travel 0.8 miles to Persephone's Farm Retreat, nestled between 200-year-old maple and pecan trees on the banks of the French Broad River. The French Broad watershed is home to the greatest great blue heron population in the world. Downriver from Persephone's Farm Retreat, within sight of the property, is a great blue heron rookery. Continue to the dead end of the road, turn around, and enjoy beautiful views of the river while returning to the highway. Back on Boyds Creek Highway, travel 1.1 miles, where the Buckingham House, reputedly the oldest brick house in Sevier County, is located at the end of a long drive on the south bank of the French Broad River. The historic home was built by Thomas Buckingham, first sheriff of Sevier County, and his brother Ephraim in 1795. Located across the road is Island View School, a favorite of artists and sightseers. Built in 1918 after a tornado destroyed the original school, the two-room school with a steeple is in the middle of a pasture. It closed in 1949. In 2 miles, pull into the driveway on the right between Kirkside Mansion and Rocky Springs Presbyterian Church. Constructed by A.N. Cardwell between 1899 and 1902, Kirkside is one of the finest examples of Victorian exuberance in Sevier County. The octagonal tower capped with a bell-cast roof is a unique feature to the house. Cardwell donated 1 acre of his land for the construction of Rocky Springs Presbyterian Church. Organized in 1874, the church was built in 1890. Back on Boyds Creek Highway, travel 0.5 miles to Wheatland's Plantation, located on the left. The Federal-style house stands at the corner of Boyds Creek Highway and Cedar Springs Valley Road. Built by John Chandler in 1824, the 5-bay house, based on a central floor plan, is the focal point of what was once a 3,700-acre plantation that featured a mercantile store, a granary, a tannery, slave dwellings, and a distillery. When the Civil War ended in 1865, Chandler allowed former slaves to remain on the plantation and work for pay. These former slaves were eventually bequeathed land on the property that subsequently became known as Chandler's Gap. Travel 0.7 miles to the Battle of Boyds Creek Memorial, located beside the road on the right. The granite shaft marks the Revolutionary War Battle of Boyds Creek on December 16, 1780. General John Sevier and his command of East Tennessee pioneers defeated a large force of Cherokee Indians who had attacked the settlers while his soldiers were away, engaged in the Battle of Kings Mountain. Sit back and relax for 3.5 miles while driving through the Oak City community. Coming into view on the right is a little stone country church and adjacent cemetery. St. Paul Episcopal Church was originally Trundle's Crossroads United Methodist Church, built in 1881 to replace an older house of worship. Continue 1.1 miles to Chilhowie Cemetery on the left. Looming in the background is majestic Chilhowie Mountain. Go 0.5 miles to the junction with Chapman Highway, Highway 441, and turn left at the traffic light. Return to Sevierville by traveling south on Chapman Highway. Continue 8.5 miles. Just before you cross Gist Creek, tell passengers to look over their shoulder on the right to see a Rock City barn. At its zenith, this ingenious form of outdoor advertising urging motorists to visit Rock City could be viewed on the sides and rooftops of around 900 barns spread along 12,000 miles of highways in 19 states. Today, over 800 of those barns have disappeared. Continue 1.2 miles to what locals sometimes call the Tarwater Stretch, a section cut through the Tarwater Farm when Chapman Highway was built. In 1 mile, you will descend Jenkins Hill, which offers a panoramic view of the city of Sevierville and the Smoky Mountains Range in the distance. Make a right onto Hardin Lane and the first left into the parking lot at Birchville Grove and Arboretum. Established by donations from the Norman Birchfield family, the Birchfield Grove and Arboretum adds both beauty and everlasting educational opportunities for citizens of Sevierville and the many visitors to the area. This self-guided walking tour identifies 73 species of trees along the Little Pigeon River. A walk along the scenic river is a perfect way to end your tour.